Tom Trbojevic!
Get ready for a Tommy Turbo Masterclass. Tameless Tuesday is here. And the boys are hard as a rock. Don't be a weak-gutted dog. Leave that for Jamin Salmon. Get ready for the best Supercoach show on the planet. It's so good, it's better than Lego. You're now listening to the Supercoach Experience Podcast. Here's your host, Brandon Savage.
Hello and welcome back to the Supercoach Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Jamin Salmons. I'm joined by the 2021 Supercoach champion, the coach of the Villi Army, Timmy Moody. How are you, Timmy?
Yeah, very good, man. It's good to be back. Rough week for me last week. I mean, I've been saying that for about 2 months now, but yeah, just a bit of a stuff up, I guess, mostly with the AE situation, not wanting to play Sony Luke, didn't Luke Ponga. Really wanted to play good old, what's his name? He's going to call him Semi-Raja.
Sevo,
yeah.
Sevo. So I actually talked you out of some Barney rubble on the weekend. You were
close to captaining him.
You vice captain Ponga, right?
Yeah.
You had the option to loop, but you had Sonny Luke come into your side if you did that. But if you did that, you're pretty much guaranteed not to win your head-to-head. So you didn't want to. You kind of wanted to go on a flyer on someone. You were so close to going Sevo. I think a couple of us boys talked you out of it. We really wanted you to loop, but you decided to go with the captaincy on Fafita. And then Sevo comes out and scores less than what Sonny Luke did. And to kick in the dick even more, Sonny Luke updated to 30.
Yeah, that's so annoying. But it's probably one of the best scores he's had all year. So I don't know how he got that in the small space of time. I think he got a little try assist there or something. But
yeah, for a Tom Jenkins try.
Yeah, right. I didn't even notice it live, to be fair. I was just sort of like, no, he's on. Yeah, it was a disaster. But look, we're at the point of the year now where the buys and all of that's now done with. It's the run home. If you're an overall player, it's trying to finish as good as we can. And if you're a head-to-head player, it's making those finals and trying to finish well into the finals.
I think I'm in a bit of an awkward spot where it's a bit of both that I'm mixed with. And I've got a good chance in all my head-to-heads, but I've also got a good chance of finishing the top 100. I'm very excited for the end of the year. I smell the run home, and this week is the week for the run home. And this is the week that we plan the drinks on the Saturday for the Supercoach Experience at the Panthers Sports Bar. And I've got to tell you now, I'm getting excited. I'm so excited for the weekend. I'm a dad. I don't get to go out that much. So this is like my one outing in the month. To be fair, it's one of the only outings in the year where I've been able to go out by myself. So I'm real excited.
It's like New Year's Eve for you. Really sort of let your hair down.
I went to bed at 8:30 on New Year's Eve last year. That's how grim things are getting with a 2-year-old. She's just becoming harder and harder to deal with and harder to take out places. Last year, I took her out at 3 o'clock. I walked to Panthers at 2:30 from my house, and she'd fall asleep, and I'd watch 2 footy games, just drink piss down there, and it was always Saturday was my favorite day because I'd walk down there and I'd get to watch heaps of games. She is not. She does not want a bar of that anymore, so it's a lot harder. But yeah, so Panthers drinks down at the sports bar, 3 p.m. It's a very casual kind of meetup with everyone. Very excited to just drink some alcohol and watch a lot of footy. And
I thought I'd come out of there.
if you're watching on the YouTubes, Timmy just recorded that first 5 minutes with a Villi Army mask on. Or
you mean if you're listening on the SoundClouds or something like that?
Yeah, we actually don't upload to SoundCloud anymore, but that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so the drinks will be fun.
Yeah, the drinks will be fun.
It might only be me and you there, but I'm sure we'll have a great time anyway.
We've had some late scratchings, but it's going to be me and Timmy, and I think Kane from SC Hub. Something's telling me he's going to pull out, but we're going to be down there. We're going to be...
Kane, I feel like he's
I think he's in.
Very diligent.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like if Kane says, he's going to be there, he's going to be there. If Kane, He's man of his word.
We're going to be ripping and tearing, and I'm so keen. And yeah, let's just
Crazy teams list going on for once. Like it's a bit to take in. There's a bit
I feel like it's so full strength at the moment. But I do want to move on to the Picklebet best bet of the week that we're going to ride this Saturday. I've got anytime try scorer Tedesco, Munster, and Moses. 1 try scorer in each match. We're going to ride that for the Saturday. So if you are a part of Picklebet, jump onto that bet. You can just add it into the bet slip yourself, do same game multis and all that. Use the code TURBO when signing up, but as always, know what you're gambling with for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Timmy, how exactly did you go on the weekend? What's your score? What's your rank?
Yeah, well, I didn't really want to look at it on Monday, and I ended up having a cheeky sneak look because I was just sad. And look, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I ended up winning a couple of head-to-heads, which was pretty cool. Let me have a look here, just bringing it up. 1,117.
Not terrible.
It's not terrible. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. There was a couple of nice highlights. Sean Johnson just killing it week after week, 135. Harry Grant brought him in 2 weeks ago for this round for 95 for him. That was really nice. The bad things are what's killing me, though. Look, I've got like Sevo for a 7. I've got Kennedy, 26. Kennedy's been killing me. I've played Udakamanu a few too many times than I'd wanted to as well.
You've kind of had to, though.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's why in the front row rotation, you don't want to spend trades up there, but I think, like...
You kind of do. If you're going to have a third guy, you at least might as well mend the trade, make it a good third guy.
But just think about it. Like, my third guy was Utakamanu as well.
Yeah.
I sold Utakamanu when he was on the buy to AFB. And look what AFB's turned into. Like, honestly, he's the front row Supercoach Player of the Year at the moment.
Yeah, I mean...
And he's in the top 10 for points scored at number 6.
I imagine there might be more people looking at him too now with Tino being out of the picture for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
3 weeks. Took the early guilty plea and, yeah, it's not looking good. Like... such a dagger to owners, went early, and he's such a nice option for the run home. It is a dagger, but these things happen in Supercoach. For all we know, the most...
Well, man, I understand how they feel. I've got Sevo in my side who's gone for the equal extent. Probably not equal Supercoach players.
He is fighting it tonight. He has been named.
Oh.
He has been named. Let me just... make sure of that.
Look, any number I can get. I don't know that I can sell him. He's 320k. He's gone down to. He was nearly at 700k at one point, old Sevo.
Yeah. So he's named, so he's fighting to downgrade it. So could be worse, could be better. But Sevo's just that kind of guy that you need to sell when he's at his top, when he's at his low.
Well, look,
but he's so low right now.
Looking back at it, though, I think it's pretty much just Dill Brown not being in the side.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much mirrors up exactly time for time where he's been scoring terribly.
I actually think that DJ Arnasi, when he came in, I rated him very highly. But the game on the weekend just proved how much Dylan Brown adds to that side. Like, his kicking is just a lot better.
Simmonson's liking to run as well a lot.
Yeah, he's running a lot as well. But myself, 1,171, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I did all right. I think just the captain choice. I captain Mitchell Moses. Always intended to get in Cleary.
Yeah.
Cleary wasn't named. And actually, that's something I have to touch on. On Twitter, I had 2 pretty reliable sources tell me he was in.
Okay, yeah.
And I think he was pretty much going to be in, but these things happen, especially coming back from like a leg injury.
Yeah.
I think the decision was made a bit later. A lot of Supercoach pages did post early in the week saying that he's out early in the week, and then they reassured themselves and reposted a lot of them kind of reposted saying my mail's right and stuff.
Okay, yep.
With that, it's kind of why I don't like gloating inside news. I kind of just post it on one platform, let it ride. Just if it'll be. Because these inside words, you're not ever going to know from these inside sources because they're not going to reveal the information. And Cleary could have had every intention of playing, but just ultimately Ivan's decision in the end. And like with my sources, pretty good sources, and I'll trust them again to go to again. So
I mean, you're not going to just put it out if it's got a 50-50 chance of being what you think is going to be wrong if you're just making it up. So there we go. Yeah.
And to be fair, I only put it on Twitter. I didn't repost it on Instagram and Facebook where kind of most of our people are.
Yep.
I just put it on Twitter because I'm like, may as well. And I was that confident. I got him in. And I was kind of screwed because when he wasn't named, I had to go to Moses. My captain hadn't played. And I was like,
so are you gonna just straight swap that one back out now this week?
Not this week.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually gonna leave Moses there this week.
And you're not gonna play. You're not gonna get Cleary in for the Dogs.
I'm not. So with Cleary against the Dogs, he's the kind of player that always promises so high against the Dogs, but for some reason he just never goes massive. And Cleary is the kind of player who takes a game or two just to ease back in. And I knew this last week, but he was going to be in my side for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter what he scored, in my opinion. I don't think you need to rush him in, but
are you only doing it so you feel like you can hold Moses an extra week, so it doesn't feel like it's as much of a waste of a trade, or you want to get something out of Moses before you'd make the trade?
I've got other trades coming.
Okay.
And because I'm not rushing him in this week, I might not rush him in next week because he's got the Sharks and Melbourne the following weeks. I don't think he's got a massive ceiling in their games. The Sharks against top 8 sides.
You're killing it, man, and I reckon you trust what you do, your process and what you're thinking, but I reckon you bring him in because you wanted him last week. And it's a really nice matchup this week. Way nicer than Moses playing the Cowboys, who are, really in good form.
Where are they playing?
Up at Country Bank.
They're playing at Bluebet. Fucking hell.
Oh, you mean the Panthers? Okay.
Let's go back to I'll talk about my trades later.
Sure.
But today, we're going to speak about team lists, the big news, the top traded in and out, the best options for the run home, our ideal final teams, sit versus starts, which is very important, Facebook and Instagram questions, which I posted yesterday, and captain choices. So let's go to team list. The big news of the day, Talakai and Moylan dropped. Talakai to the bench. If you're a Talakai owner, what are you doing?
I guess it depends how many trades you got. If you've got enough depth, I'd probably just leave him and not play him this week. He might just come back next week and, learn his lesson and then sort of want to prove his point to keep his spot sort of thing. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like they're going to just go to Connor Tracy for the rest of the season, hey?
Yeah, it does seem like it's a little bit one quick wake-up call before you'd think so. But Connor Tracy's pretty handy, and I think that they think that they could probably rely on him if they see that there's a deficiency or whatever there that they want to sort out.
His break-even's 82. He's 631k, so if he comes off the bench, scores another 20, he could potentially lose 60k, go to 570. I don't think he's
I'd hold him.
I'd hold him just this week, see what happens next week. It's such a shame that he is dropped because
I'd just hold him for the season. I reckon he'll be back.
Manly,
surely.
Manly is a very nice matchup.
It could be 1 week or 2 weeks max, but sure, he's got to come back, right?
I don't know. I just think they're going to focus on defence
Trindle's
now.
pretty handy too, so maybe they could just go, Trindle's going to do just as good or better job than Moylan. We'll give it to Trindle. It's a weird situation because
I find Hines and Moylan such a better combination than Hines and Trindle. I just don't think Hines and Trindle have ever worked. But Hines and Moylan's kicking game is awful. Have you seen him hold a ball? Like, he looks like he doesn't know how to hold it.
Someone else's baby or something.
Yeah, but he's honestly done brilliant in that position. And I don't know what the go is, but if you own either, just wait a couple of weeks. Yeah. See how you go. They probably just need to
Not
kick
many
up the
own
arse.
Moylan, I don't think, but
Talakai's last game against Manly was 165, round 7.
Yeah,
2022. So that's such a tricky one. Other team list news: there are big stars back. If you haven't noticed, we didn't address it at the start of the episode, but the Shrine is back.
Brought him in. I've just realised, I've tried to assess, what's gone wrong for me. I've gone bad over the bye period. I've brought in just, guys that I can afford. I haven't prioritise money enough this year, and so I've just struggled. And then my centre wings it's just gone to crud, and they've lost value. So it's been tough. But this guy's back out. He's been in the cupboard. I've just sort of tucked him away in the cupboard, just behind the the clothes and stuff. But he's coming back out. I'm gonna re-erect him in my room. I've got some photos of Viliami kick out from his Instagram. It sounds a bit creepy, but I'm a bit of a weirdo. But yeah, look, with my work, I have to sort of deal with these photograph machines, so we have to test them.
Yeah.
So we normally used to have to just take photos of ourselves. So rather than do that, I just go to the test mode and print out pictures of Viliami kick out, which is really exciting. So I'm going to, really decorate. It's going to be really fun, and ride it in the off season, even for next year. But look, we've got to. We've got to be excited that he's back in the frame. He's coming off the bench this week potentially.
He's in the reserves at the moment, but he's definitely not being in has coincided with the downfall of your Supercoach season. So hopefully it is a resurgence for the Viliami this season. So all the big guns are back. Latrell Mitchell, Nathan Cleary, Reece Walsh is back. I guess we don't need to talk about him. We've spoken about him ad nauseum for the last few weeks. Cleary, he's a gun. Get him in your side as soon as you can, as soon as it makes sense for you. Doesn't make sense for me at the moment, so that's why I'm not. You'll understand when I tell you my trades.
Well, if you've got other things that are really nice, like I'm bringing him in this week, and it's probably the stupidest thing for me to be doing.
Yeah.
There's probably way better ways for me to strengthen my side with the problems I've got going on.
Yeah. Can we just talk about it quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get the most traded out players this week. And I know there's someone on this list that people are selling to get Nathan Cleary. He's number 9 on the list. 863 people have traded him out. Nico Hines for Nathan Cleary. I've had some questions.
Add one more to that list. Oh, I'm actually on that list. Yeah, I've already done
Are you
it.
actually?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
So we're going to have a bit of a debate here.
Yeah.
I think it's nuts.
Oh, it is. It's crazy.
Actually...
It's nuts. It's sideways.
I do think it's nuts, but potentially, in my case, maybe going Nico Hines to Cleary in 3 weeks when Nico Hines' draw becomes tougher. He plays top 4 sides the last 4 weeks or something, but he's draw from now till then. So I'll get his draw up. He's got Manly.
How many more trades you got? Do you reckon you're going to be able to?
I've got 4 after this week. So
yeah.
So.
I reckon you just do it now or don't do it,
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So he's got Manly this week. I think that's a beautiful matchup, and you're crazy for selling him this week, in my opinion. I think he's going to be the biggest scorer of the week, especially after last week. He got binned. He scored a try, but he still scored 80 points in a side that got pumped by 40.
Yeah, I get it. He's been scoring 100 for fun, I'm a massive Nathan Cleary fan. He's back. Whenever he's been away for a bit, he feels it's like he wants to make up for lost time, and he comes back with a cape on. His chin's just a little bit bigger than when he left the game.
I did see a photo. His chin was looking chinny.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing I'm talking about.
I'm not knocking Cleary at all, but
I've got Johnson there as my other guy, and he's just so exciting and fun to have that.
Johnson
and his draw
with a bye next week.
Yeah, I know, but their draw's really, really good.
Nico Hines, I agree.
Nico, look, as much as I love the bloke too, he's still killing it for Supercoach, and I don't think he's a sell, but he's on a bit of a decline.
He
you know what I mean? In a general sense, his confidence is down.
For last year and kind of the start of this year, I saw no deficiencies in his game. I'm seeing him pop up every single week.
Defense particularly.
Defense, you see him shoot up. It's just so random when he shoots up, and he kind of runs straight past where the ball is. And the other week against the Tigers,
I feel like he's trying to scare the guy, but then has no plan B, to actually.
And then he's like,
I'm
not actually going to tackle him.
Yeah.
They do have Penrith and Souths after Manly this week, so
yeah. So then next week, it's kind of a tough matchup for Penrith. I'd rather have Nathan than Nico in that matchup.
You're more confident in Nathan against a top 8 side than Nico.
Yeah, and look, you can only have one. It's a dumb trade, man. I should be really trying to get some better centre wings where I'm really struggling. Yeah, I should maybe even try and get rid of Sony Luke any way I can, just because that's just a catastrophe. Like, that's costing me a lot of loop, stuff ups where I'm like, no, I'm not doing it then. And like it's happened
And like
twice.
on the weekend that hurt you massively.
So that's probably the way I could still do that. I could still trade Sony Luke out just to enough hooker that's not going to play. It's yuck as, but
you make no money from that.
yeah,
eh?
I'm like, it's the crappiest moves, but I'm just sort of like, for head-to-head purposes and stuff, like if I want to whoop in the grand final.
If you've got the trades, I think it's not a bad
I've only
move.
got 5, and that's like after doing one trade for Nico this week.
Right.
To Nico to Cleary.
I see why you're doing it. Like the next 2 weeks with Nico.
Well, I wasn't doing it. I was talking to MG's son because I'm getting MG to sign a book for my mate's old man. It's like got all the players from like the 91 grand finals in a book. Yeah, so I'm getting his son
Maverick?
to sort of, no,
Or his other one.
Yeah, this is the other one. The older brother.
Oh, like the
Logan.
third Hemsworth.
Logan. Yeah, no. Yeah, so this one, go and pop down. I'm going to see MJ as well. Just they're both at their gym. Going to see him on the weekend. But he goes to me, asked me how it's going. A bit embarrassed. Didn't really tell him exactly what rank I'm coming. And he sort of compared myself to the Roosters. And he said, yeah, you're not going too well with myself, sort of 2,600th. And I was like, I was like, yeah, no. I know he probably would just sort of, play it casually. Wouldn't be sort of...
Wouldn't be stressing over it like you are.
Yeah, so that was embarrassing. But he goes, I'm bringing in Nath this week. He's back. Got to do it. And I was just, and then he got me thinking. I was just like, yeah, all right, maybe I have to do it. Just it's too like.
I get it. And last week I moved heaven and earth to get him in. And it just didn't work out. It was always my backup plan. If I didn't have him last week, my trades were already set for this week. I'm going to just wait till next week.
I don't think it would hurt me to do it, and I don't think it's necessarily going to benefit me. It's just kind of like, changing one shirt for another shirt. They're both going to do the same thing, but you like one shirt a bit more. So I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky for me because if I don't do it this week right,
you might not ever do it.
He has the Sharks the week after at home, which is pretty good. Pretty good matchup at the moment.
You don't want Nico. Don't reckon you want Nico against the Panthers.
Well, you'd rather Cleary over. But then Moses has Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. But then Moses has St George the week after. So, if I hold Moses for this week, I'm going to Cleary, who has a tougher matchup. Who, Moses can nearly match there.
I just reckon Cleary will still put out those 100.
Yeah, it's real tough. Do I just tell you my trades now?
Let's break down that wall.
We usually kind of do this at the end, but you're doing Cleary, Heinz to Cleary, just one trade.
Probably just that, yeah.
My trades this week, I'm going Gutho to Teddy, 900k. Teddy, I've had him in and out all season, and I think I've got him at the right times. He's the kind of player we saw his Origin 3 game. That's the
great signs there. Great signs.
That's the Teddy we're going to be getting week in and week out, I reckon.
Well, the thing I like about you bringing him in, you were going to do it before we saw that anyway. But now that we've seen that game, I felt like it was a little bit emotional purchase.
Yeah,
it was but now that you've seen that there, I feel like it's backed up as well.
Gold Coast this week, Broncos the week after, Manly, Dolphins, Parramatta, Tigers, and Souths. They've got a very good draw. And I think he's got the best draw out of the elite fullbacks. And I think he can match it with the fullbacks that are going around at the moment. Not only I think he's the best fullback for the run home, it banks me 230k from going Gutho to him. And this allows me to do Richie Kenner in my centres, shifting Manu to the centre and getting in Cameron Munster.
Yeah, okay. So I was pretty keen on Munster. I was going to do Munster this week. So I did Ponga last week for my to put him at fullback, which made me be able to move Zarko back to centres, make my centres stronger. I was then wanted to move Manu down to my centres to make my centres stronger and bring in Munster. But I don't know. He had a pretty fairly large involvement to an extent in that game. He had a lot of touches in the Origin game. I just wasn't that him. I just haven't looked at him being like, I need him.
But that's the kind of guy he is.
And that's when he does it, huh?
he had a lot of touches, but they weren't big Supercoach plays. A lot of kicks that led to tries for Xavier Coates. Like, Xavier Coates only scored 76 with a hat-trick. I think that's what we're dealing with. He scored 65 and played 80 minutes of Origin and then backed it up with another 75 minutes against the Roosters. 34 tackles in Origin, 18 hit-ups. You can understand why his runs were down in this game. He had a few tackle busts.
Probably still had a fair few beers as well, to be fair.
That's it, 65. And with a draw of Newcastle and Parramatta in the next 2 weeks, he then plays Penrith, who he always seems to step up for. Canberra, St. George, Gold Coast and Brisbane. With Cameron Munster, I'm not looking at the draw because I find the easier sides he kind of sits back against. But I'm looking at these teams and Canberra is one I'm very excited to have him for because he likes to get into the grind.
Competitive
the competitive grind with a side like Canberra. And he'll have the tackle bust and runs up. And I think the attacking stats will be there as well. Whereas St. George the next week, I see Nick Meaney being the top scorer that week against St. George and Munster kind of sitting back and getting try involvements.
He's still very affordable where he doesn't even have to score great for it to be a...
And that's it, going Richie Kenner to Cameron Munster and boosting up the strength of my squad. Yeah. I think it's worth it. And I think it's worth it because, a lot of these other people are going one way. Cameron Munster, a lot of people haven't.
Can I ask you about one other bloke, though?
Yeah.
I haven't really looked at it close enough because I haven't really thought about it till this moment. But Dill Brown, I know he's going to be more expensive for one. When's he back? He's back soon, isn't he?
I think he might be back next week or the week after. I don't like it. They have a late bye, and I've already got Moses. I've already got Hopgood.
Could come back with the attitude of really what he seems to have taken it very maturely, especially in some of the interviews and the way I've heard him sort of speak about, how he's owning his actions sort of thing. And he could really sort of come back and want to play out of his skin and very humbly, not sort of beating his chest. This is the way I could see him going, playing very, very well, just sort of giving his team a little nod like, sorry, I've let you down over the last couple of weeks, boys. And being really, really good. What's your thoughts on that?
I think so, but I don't think he's going to be worth waiting and getting in. He's going to need to, for you to get him in and trade out a Munster or a Cody Walker, you're going to have to waste a trade on that. And then say you trade out Cody Walker for him. Cody Walker has a buy in the head.
Well, I'm just saying, for your sake, what if you went that way? Would you consider going Brown instead of Munster?
Nah, I like Munster.
Okay.
I like Munster. And I've had him for the end of the year last year, and I was very happy with him. And I remember saying to myself, if I didn't have him, I wouldn't have ranked 69th last year because he just went on a tear. Yes, he played fullback, but I don't know. I just have a few,
you're a pick and stick guy. You've had a place for him, and you want to.
Yeah, for a lot of the season, Munster, he hasn't been a priority for me during the season, but I just see him being really good to have. I don't
worthy
yes,
of the
and
of
with Kalen Ponga, probably I reckon Kalen Ponga's we're just seeing his best for Supercoach.
You reckon it'll maybe go off a little bit?
Yeah, I think Munster can match and potentially go better than Ponga. I don't need to rush to get Ponga in now because I think I've missed.
I'm hoping Ponga keeps the kicking after last week.
Plays Melbourne this week, so it will be a very tough one.
Yeah. I'd prefer to have Ponga if I was going to have one or the other. But you're going to have both anyway, aren't you? So
no, not.
Oh,
Ponga.
You're not.
I don't have Ponga, so.
Okay, fair enough.
It's real tricky.
Back yourself.
So the number one traded out this week, Tino. I think I can vouch for that. Mitch Moses, and in the top 1%, Mitch Moses to Nathan Cleary is a very popular trade. I think
do that.
It's nice. I've just got other plans for my side. It's why I'm not doing it. But I think that's a brilliant trade. Ronaldo Mulitalo, I find this very interesting as the number 3 traded out this week. I think he's going to turn up this week. And I think he's going to score 5 tries.
Interesting. Connor Tracy and the different combination there might help. I mean, it can only improve on the last 2 weeks where nothing's happened for him, so that's a positive. I do feel Connor Tracy's a bit more of like a run-first sort of mentality guy.
He grew up in the grades as a half.
Yeah.
So you'd think...
Well, then you think he'd have the ball playing obviously
does,
as well.
But he doesn't.
But when you watch him on the eye test, he seems to have that run.
Yeah, he does. Mentality. And I just remember him being frustrated at him. You know how you just hate them players? Like, I hate Rocco.
They get in the way of your things.
I hate Rocco Berry because last year I had Marcelo Montoya and Berry played left centre. And
blocking him.
He absolutely bombed so many potential tries out there because he just wouldn't pass the ball. He's playing really good footy at the moment, Rocco Berry, so I think he's just growing on me a bit more, but I just thought he was the shittest player, eh? But yeah, Connor Tracy, I just think the Sharks, like, they, regardless of whether they drop players or not this week, they're going to bounce back this week. And against a Manly side who have been pretty resilient, I think losing last week pretty much put the nail in the coffin for their season. I think we're going to see a massive blowout this week.
Yeah, well, with Ronaldo Militalo, he's had that one score of 9 in round 1 that was sort of a little bit of an early warning sign for us, just to say, look, I've got this in him. That was an 80-minute game against the Bunnies. But then ever since then, he's been scoring like, just looking at it, looks like about an average of about 60. Oh, you can probably see it. Yeah, okay, 65-ish, 67-ish, yep.
Yep.
Which is nice. And there's some decent good ones in there, and it's just very, very consistent. There's no bad ones there. But then the last 2 weeks have just been terrible. So I don't think it's got anything to do with him. It's more sort of circumstance of the last couple of games.
He just hasn't scored.
Hold on to the bloke.
He hasn't scored tries the last 2 weeks, and he scores the easiest tries in the world, just like every left winger does.
Can bomb a few as well.
He does bomb a few, but he hasn't been scoring tries in the last 2 weeks. Scored 87 the week before.
Yeah,
and he's just like, for these sorts of matchups, I think he's a nice player to have. I wouldn't be selling him. I think he's in for a massive one this week. And just while I remember, me and Hads did podcast the other week. We're giving away one of these balls and a Supercoach hat. And the competition was to guess Will Kennedy's score and Greg Marju's score for the week, because it was the player we were most excited to watch.
Yep.
Nobody got that. So we're going to do it again this week.
Jackpot.
Who are you most excited to watch this week?
He probably won't take the field, so I can't kick out him. I have to pick someone else. I was going to say kick out, but look, I'll say Nathan Cleary.
Nathan Cleary?
Returned, yeah.
All right, so if you can guess in the comments.
There's so many I'm excited to see, like Latrell come back, Walsh come back. There's heaps, but probably Nath, yeah.
You're in the way of the camera. How did that happen? Move over.
Well, whose camera? Your camera?
You're in my camera.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, look.
Oh, I mean, I'm just popping my head into it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Get out of the way, mate. Get out of the fucking way. I'm most excited to see James Tedesco and Cameron Munster this week. So if you can guess any of these players' scores correctly, you can guess all three. We'll give away a ball and a hat. Whoever gets the first one right, you get a choice. If two people get it right, we'll give the first person who commented first choice, and then the other person gets whatever's left over. So,
well, rummage thing, I've got stubby cool.
If you can guess Cleary, Munster, and Tedesco's score correctly, I'm making it.
Do they only have to get one of them to win one prize, or what's the goal?
They've just got to get one. Yeah. They've just got to get one. Yeah. If they get all three, I throw in a stubby holder.
So it's really confusing. So
get close to the microphone.
So if someone comments and they've got like Tedesco 50, the other bloke. How like are you going to just got to base it off whoever commented first? There goes is the first guess.
I just had to move.
I feel like it's going to be chaotic with 3 different options with people.
No, just people have to guess.
We'll find a winner, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty funny that I was just sort of poking my little face into your screen. Sorry about that.
That's annoying. Keep talking. The podcast is still going. Am I in focus still? I hope I am.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
That should have been there. Anyway, we're continuing.
Can we rewind a little bit while we've just sort of hit a bit of a speed bump?
Yeah.
I reckon. Well, can you just talk me through again why you don't want to do Nath this week? Is it more about you wanting to get Munster in this week, or more about wanting to kind of also play Moses this week, or
I don't mind Moses' matchup against the Cowboys this week.
okay?
I think Parramatta and the Cowboys, always high-scoring matchups. If Cleary gets up 150, it's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Moses can probably get 80+ against the Cowboys. If Moses was playing Penrith or Melbourne, I'd probably do the trade.
Away do it, yeah.
But and I think Munster's matchup versus
They've been
Newcastle.
defending a lot better. They've been playing a lot better.
Who?
The Cows in general.
I know that. I just think Moses.
I reckon that you're going to end up getting to the point where you end up wanting to do it anyway by the end of the round. I don't know why you like. Do you feel like Munster's going to outscore Cleary?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm all for it then.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. Okay, yeah.
That's why. Like, I'd be prioritizing Cleary there's no like reasoning behind it. It's just a gut feel thing. And like, yeah, it's crazy that I was trying to get him in last week and I would have been happy to have him in this week. But I just, like, against the Dogs, I just remember there was a game 2 years ago. He scored 190 versus Souths, 225 versus Titans, and then he was up against the Dogs the week after, and everyone was going crazy. Like, he was like 100% captained. And I was pressured into captaining him that week when I wasn't feeling it. He scored 54 points.
I'm sort of pressuring you to buy him right now, aren't I?
His record against the Dogs, 57 points, 54 points. That was the game that I was talking about. And 88 points. He's never had a big daddy 100. His high score is 106. The stats don't lie. I know there's like, you've got gut feelings.
Yeah.
You've got gut feelings about things, but when you look at the stats, rarely...
Yeah, maybe just eases himself in a little bit too.
Yeah, and rarely these stats... Rarely you come up against a circumstance where he gets an outlier game. Like, obviously, for these players to get these big scores, they've got to break their own records sometimes. Like, when he got 225, his highest score against the Titans before that, I think it was like... I don't know what it was actually, but let's say it's 140.
Mm-hmm.
What if I said to you, I'm not captaining him this week because he can't go higher than 140 against the Gold Coast? That wasn't true that week. Like, it could be the case this week where he scores 110 and breaks his own record.
Yeah.
But the stats are there.
Okay. His
average is 56 against the Bulldogs. I know it's a different Bulldog side and they're defending pretty badly, but Cameron Sorrell, though, is the coach who came from Penrith. I think he'll be wanting
Inside
to come
information.
Want to come in for a big game, and surely after a disappointing week at Belmore, people stand up for these games against the Panthers because they're the top dogs. They want to prove their worth in the competition.
Okay, but back yourself.
And like, averages 80 against the Sharks.
You got me doubting myself now, so that's...
Average, yeah, well, it's honestly like, if he's, let's say Tommy Turbo against Canberra, I'll get his stats up here. Earlier in the season, I tipped Tommy Turbo anytime and Manly 13+, and Hads called me greedy because that was my best bet of the week. And I was just like, I'm looking at the stats. He had, I think it was like, he'd played 9 matches against them and scored 15 tries.
Mm-hmm.
5 try assists in one game, and his average was like over 100.
And they'd been pumping him nearly every time they'd played or something.
He wasn't in good form,
yeah,
but I just backed him. I knew he was in for a big
You're
game.
You're a stat guy now. I don't know you to be such a stat guy, Brandon.
No,
you're presenting as stat guy.
No, I just remember these things because the year in 2017 when I had my best year prior to last year, it's all I did. Like, I'd look at matchups and be like, what's their highest score against this side? And it was funny because I was on such a hot streak. I think I captained someone over 109 weeks in a row, which, like, back then, it was pretty tough to get. Like, you're happy with 80. There was a week where Ryan James was playing for the Titans, and I think he was playing Canberra, and his high score was like 150. I didn't have him, but Mikey was like, who should I captain? And he had Ryan James in his side, and I was like, captain Ryan James this week, because I looked at his side, looked at everyone's matchups, and Ryan James went out, scored a double.
Do you say history repeats? It's sort of...
It's kind of a thing, but like, it doesn't... It's weird how it works, because these players are human, right? It's kind of like us in podcasting. Like, do you think we have our better podcasts on Zoom or in person at this studio or the Picklebet studio or at Bella Vista?
Mm-hmm. You personally know mine.
I kind of feel like the Zoom and Bella Vista podcasts lack a little, just because we feel like we're not in a professional environment, whereas these environments we are, and we kind of flow a bit better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're comfortable here, like we flourish. It's the same with the players in their favourite grounds against their favourite sides. Like they...
Okay.
And it also works reversed as well, where these sides are scarred by certain players, and they're like, we can't beat this side because they always beat us.
Who do? Okay.
It's kind of like the Indians. What's going on? Oh, no.
We've got 12 seconds or so.
No.
What's wrong?
I think I'm fucked up.
Are we not recording?
Oh, no, we are.
You're making me nervous, brother.
No, we're recording. Fuck. Yeah. Anyway, I was about to flip it if we didn't get that spiel.
What spiel?
That spiel that I just talked about. Just
Okay.
then.
Yeah.
Because that was a nice little passage.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The run home. Who are the top 3 targets
For players. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Nath for me. I think Latrell could be. I think it sucks that he has a grand final.
Does have tough matchups, but we saw last
Big game
year.
player, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just that X factor that could really, really help you win your head-to-heads, shoot you up the ranks. You are sort of paying up for it. I can't see it going too bad. He's not just going to go completely missing. He's been out for a while. He's going to involve himself. So it should be. I like the idea of Latrell, I think. Latrell, Cleary. Third one isn't real. Like, it's probably someone I've already maybe got in my side that I'd probably say Fafita, although he wasn't ideal last week. There's people that don't have him, haven't brought him back.
Yep.
I'd go with Fafita as the other. Especially now with Tino being gone, different positions, but I can see him. He's their main.
More go forward has relied on
Yeah.
him. Even though he's a second rower, he does have it in him to get the team going forward. In my opinion, I think Hines and Cleary for the run home.
Yeah.
I get you as a Johnson owner why you're going against that, and I think that's fine.
Already
Actually, I don't think Hines is a must-have for the run home. I take that back because he's got a pretty tricky draw to
So
end the
any
season.
of those, one of these three, or at least two of them, have got to be right. At
let's
least
go-
one of them.
Let's go Cleary to end the year. I think Cody Walker. I think he's a must-have.
Interesting.
So
I think there's been people looking at selling him over the last couple of weeks.
I think he's very good. That buy in the grand final week is very tricky.
Yeah.
But I think he's, after Origin, killing it in Origin, getting man of the match.
If you've got to trade up your sleeve, it'd be nice to be able to move him on to someone else.
In the last round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
I
not,
agree.
you can deal with it for that round. You'd have the depth most likely anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
And I'm not putting it down to a certain player, but I think a good crop of centre wings to rotate.
Yeah. Tell me about it, man.
Obviously, yourself.
That's where I've fallen behind hard, man.
Yeah.
Hard. Like, my centre wing was great before buys. My team was looking pretty good before the buys. And I've planned for the buys, so I should, be going up, but I've gone backwards.
Yeah.
And it's mainly due to that centre wing. Like, there's just guys that like Marshues, for example, just So good.
Killing you.
So good.
Killing you.
Yeah.
He was someone I wasn't sure about too, and I just said negative break even. What's worse can happen? So I think these guys,
Chance Nickel Cox.
yeah,
Going so well. And
Actually,
imagine if you picked him up at basement price to start the year.
Actually-
haven't sold him. There'll be people that started with him, sold him, bought him back. Still done well with him. That's nice. But just to buy him purely cheap at the start of the year and have him all year.
he's actually
That'd be
someone
nice.
after this week that after the bye next week,
You looking at?
I'd be very keen on.
I'm kind of keen on Dallin Wateni.
Yeah, I like Dallin too. And first start, I'm finding it very difficult this week because on my bench, I have these players to choose from: Harry Grant, Corey Holsborough, Jacob Preston, Jackson Ford, Joe Tarpanay, Nico Hines, Cody Walker, Alex Johnson, Jesse Ramey, and James Tedesco. So Tedesco's locked in. Hines is locked in. Harry Grant's locked in. I've got to lock in Horsburgh or Tarpanay. I've got. It's honestly such a headache. Cody Walker's there as well.
Good
And
problems to have.
I
Good
think
problems to
Jesse
have.
Ramian is in for a big one this week as well. And then like my starting centre wing, Joey Manu, Marju, Meany, Mulatalo. Like I'm backing Mulatalo massively this week. There's no way I don't play him. It's such a tough one. I think I'm going Teddy, Hines, Grant, and Walker, which means I have to leave out either Horsburgh or Tarpanay, which is
One
or
or
Tohu
both?
or Tohu.
I believe.
I think maybe Tohu, but I think
Yeah.
Tohu could, like against the Raiders, it's a bit of a tougher matchup. Should play bigger minutes. It's so tough. Like
His minutes just felt very weird last week. Like unexpected.
just because of the game situation, I think they
Yeah.
were dominating. I think
I
Cody
guess,
Walker
yeah,
against
they're
Brisbane.
swapping it out.
Cody Walker against Brisbane. I'm 100% playing. Alex Johnson, I'm leaving out against Brisbane. I don't know. I just don't see Brisbane as the like defensive unit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They probably might want to be though coming into the final. They'll be saying they're focusing on and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not leaky,
No. Well,
super leaky.
Bulldogs scored 20 against them last week
Yeah, that did
with
not
all the
count.
stars out, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, no, it's a tough one. I've got a lot to linger on, but how's your 17?
Well, it's
Is
not
it pretty
as,
obvious?
It's not as glamorous as your Sit V starts. I'll probably have. Our bench will be SJ, Bateman, Cody, and then I just need to decide between the last ones. I've got Will Kennedy there. I don't think I can give him another go. Hey, I think he just needs to sit on the side and
I think he's in for a big one this week.
watch and
The Sharks
cheer the boys on.
have as
I
many
think
Sharks as you can. this
I've got
week.
Munro, I've got Rapana. Who's Rapana playing this week? Is it
Warriors.
Yeah, okay, no.
I'd
don't
leave
do
him.
That. Yep, leave him out. Udakamanu ain't getting another go. Yeah, so probably
It's pretty simple for you.
probably Will Kennedy then.
See, you're seeing my conundrum with all my players. Am I best off just saving the trades and just going Moses to Cleary?
I reckon.
Or, like, I can still do the Teddy trade because I'm confident in Teddy, but do I just do Moses to Cleary, save a trade, and, you know, like, I don't need Munster because I've got all these options, but, like, Munster's a big ceiling guy, so you want these big ceiling guys in your side.
Yeah, I guess if you've got one and if you don't have Nico, but if you say you had Nico and SJ, I just don't reckon Moses is.
I'm
Can
happy
par it
with
up.
Moses this week. You're not convincing me. It's
Oh,
all
I'm
good.
not. It's not like man. I mean, I'd bet my life on it that Cleary will score more than Moses this week. But
We'll see. We'll be there Saturday.
I'm not going to let you kill me. But that's how confident I am.
Well, another plus of having Moses this week. Got to
Yeah.
play for every game for the Supercoach Experience drinks at the Panthers Sports Bar.
Oh yeah.
So the last game, I
That's fun,
won't be sitting there like Oh, I've got no one in this game.
Well, you might be sitting there going, oh, where's this?
I might be. All right, let's go to Facebook and Instagram questions. I put out a poll yesterday, and we've got a lot of questions, so we'll try and power through them and then finish off the show. Best 4 centre wings for the run home playing head-to-head. I think Chance.
Yeah.
Chance.
On the back of SJ's form, just he's doing elite stuff by himself, but then just having, getting some love off the SJ as well. He's looking great.
Chance, Meany, Tago.
I really like Tago. I do like that. I mean, I wouldn't say definitely a top 4. I think he like on the eye test of the last couple of weeks, it just looks like he's just going to keep doing it. But we've seen him be good before.
Yeah,
and then just sort of, nothing too special, like decent enough own to have. You don't think Marju?
Well, I haven't said my 4th.
Okay.
I think
as a non-owner, he's just that one guy. I'm just like, just the tackle busting sort of ability without the tries, still scary. And then when you just...
Like one try for 100, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think, Marju, Meany, Chance, and Tago, maybe.
What about, I'm going to say Val Holmes in that.
Oh, no, their draw is pretty yuck.
I'm going to say I don't care.
You don't care?
Yeah, only because his draw was really nice to start the year and he was scoring okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still reckon he can do those okay things
that
he was doing to get those sorts of scores. I just reckon that the difference is the Cowboys are in red hot form, and the comments made by Phil Gould I heard a couple of weeks ago that really sort of made me
that they're the one that can win the comp.
Yeah, he goes, they're the only one that can beat the Panthers, and I'm like, what? When I was looking at him, I think they were like 11th at their time or something when he was saying it, and he's like, they've got 5-6 Origin stars. If you look back, you need to have that quality of sort of players, and just they're the only side that can do it. And he was just saying it with so much confidence, and he's like, no one else are anywhere near on the level of, you think they're good. You think the other sides, I think he's alluding to your Cronulla's, your Brisbane's, those sorts of...
I think Brisbane
bunnies,
pretenders.
I reckon he's saying all of those got no chance. It's either Penrith will win it again. He's like, they'll three-peat it, unless the Cowboys... And I was like, I like his confidence in the Panthers. That could have
I
shot,
actually think...
Makes me scared, though, of the Cowboys.
I think Parramatta and Penrith rematch is going to be the grand final.
I'm confident we win the Parramatta one.
I think so too.
I would be a little bit scared to play the Cowboys.
I agree with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are scary, but
I'd be scared to play the Bunnies too with a lot of troll there.
That being said, I think the good sides kind of allow this period to have a rest, and then they warm into the final series, and I think that's what Penrith, Parramatta, and the Bunnies are doing. The Cowboys, I'm not sure if they're going to burn out beforehand.
Maybe they could have just gone a little bit early.
Yeah, I think that's the only issue with them. But we have some more questions.
Yeah.
And I promised this first question that I would read it on the podcast because Captain Teddy for 200 this week.
Question?
By Rugby League on Instagram.
Is it just a statement?
It's just a statement.
Captain Teddy for 200, so he's going to score 200, you get 400 with you.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
No Tino. I'm not captaining.
Do you know what? It is a really nice thing to have this week,
It
actually.
is.
You're just saying the name, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Teddy, but I didn't even pay attention to that.
Teddy versus the Titans,
because
3 o'clock. It's going to be, our lips are going to be on our first handful of drinks.
Okay.
We're going to be in that buzzy mood. We're not going to be feeling sloppy yet. We're going to be buzzing. We're going to have bloody 4 TAB tickets.
How much is he?
He's $670. You going
I can
Kennedy?
afford to do it.
Kennedy?
I can move Kennedy onto him.
Do it.
I'm going to do it right now. Let me just see if I can do a live trade.
Yo! We're going to be riding.
Exciting.
Are you going to vice captain him?
Oh, well, I'll do whatever you're doing. I'll do whatever.
All right,
I can do it. I can afford it.
If you're coming on Saturday, you're vice captaining Teddy.
Yeah, he's in.
We're riding him
I've got 4
together
trades
for the 3
left now.
o'clock game. And Teddy is going to determine how long the night goes, because if he does shit...
What's old mate's name? The question for 200?
Rugby League.
Yeah, nice.
on Instagram.
Oh, his name's Rugby League.
Oh, his
Parents
name on
who must have been tough at school. People will be picking on him.
Greg Duplessis, Holden Mulatalo. I say yes, but
Yep.
he obviously
If you got heaps of cash and
he obviously wasn't in our top 4 centre wings for the run home question.
No, but you can still have him as a 5th or 6th. It doesn't mean you have to sell him. He's
Can I
very like okay. Yep.
Can I go back to that question? Meanie, you didn't blink twice. Their draw is pretty good, but they do have some tricky
He's probably
matchups.
not in my top 4.
He's not?
Nah. But then again, my read on centre wings, like if you want to know who my centre wings are, we talked about them last week. They're terrible. So
Yeah.
I'm probably not the best to judge.
You're like,
but
I want these guys.
But I've done a
I
lot of
can't.
window shopping and looking at other people's nice toys for a long time. So
Man like Hambo on Instagram, is DeBellin to AFB a good trade, or should I prioritise upgrading to Fare? I think DeBellin is fine. I think
he's fine, but AFB does have that like.
he has the upside. I'd wait till next week, to be honest, because they got the bye. So I'd wait till the week after.
Yeah.
Hold it out this week. Just hope AFB doesn't go crazy.
I don't think you have to upgrade
Nah.
to Fare either.
Nah.
You've probably got other guys that are killing it in your centre wings.
David Kinetics EP on Instagram, Tago a top centre wing option for the head-to-head finals. He was in the top 4.
I'm
that
not
we
confident
mentioned.
on top 4. I mean, you're happy to put him there. I like him. I'd be happy to have him in my.
Actually, I think he's out of my top 4 because we've seen he's gone crazy without Cleary and without the superstars there. I think when they all come back, he's kind of going to go back to what he was.
I think he's playing pretty well.
I
and
think he's
he
definitely
may be somewhere in between. Somewhere you can't
Yeah.
expect him to be like.
Marju's probably there. Who are we targeting? Maybe even Dallin and Chance for the run home.
Well, possibly their draw is that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, SJ's just chucking Dallin over for fun, but he's really good at finishing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's something in that perm that he's got, but he's just so classy, and he's an older dude too. So like he's not super.
He's got his game figured out.
Yeah, but I'm just impressed by his agility.
MK Ultra on Instagram, is Kennedy to Edwards or Walsh a better trade for the run home? Have Ponga as the other fullback.
So was it Kennedy to Walsh or who?
Edwards. So I got in Edwards last week because I think his draw for the run home is pretty good. I'll potentially swap to Latrell. But
Underwhelming? How did he go last week?
he scored 70.
Okay, it's not bad. Take that.
I was actually pretty happy. And he goal kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice little surprise. When Cogger was missing goals, I was like,
you got one in, didn't you?
I knew Edwards was up.
Smashed it over.
I knew Edwards was up next. He had 2 from the sideline and nailed him.
It was crazy because I was sitting there going in the chat like, surely someone in the team can kick better than this Cogger bloke. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't look good when he kicks.
poor bugger.
But yeah, like Edwards, I got him in last week. I'm very happy with him.
He was so embarrassed, Cogger too. Like the second one, he was just kind of like,
It's all right. It happens.
Yeah.
It's
not his forte. He's the next best.
It's happened. But with Edwards for the run home, I think this is why I'm excited to have Edwards this week as well against the Bulldogs. I think Edwards is the kind of guy.
Nice matchup.
He's the kind of guy who will benefit off,
Yeah.
and he could score more than Cleary. I'm not saying he will.
Back you up inside balls, stuff
That's
like that. I reckon though, I'd prefer Walsh.
No, I don't.
I would. I'm having my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because he's been off for a bit, and I reckon you'll want to come back, similar to like what I was saying with Dylan Brown, and sort of repay the team and sort of make up for lost
I think
time.
Tedesco.
Well, that wasn't one of his questions, was it?
Well, it was Edwards or Walsh, and I'm saying Tedesco.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't mind Walsh, bro, if you want to get that guy.
But if you don't have the money, Walsh
Teddy's
is
nice, cheap.
Walsh
yeah.
is a pod.
I can't believe Teddy's that cheap. I know he wasn't lighting it up, but
He was though. He scored like back-to-back tons, a 70, and then he scored a
Yeah.
30 in the Origin period.
I guess the thing is, for me, it's just that Kennedy's been going that bad.
Alright,
I'm
we need-
surprised that I can almost do
we
it.
need to power through these
Yep.
questions because there's a lot more. Same guy, Bryce Cartwright, a keeper.
He's in the starting side now, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, Maddo's
I think
out.
you can hold on to him.
Well, who's...
Maddo's on the bench,
Yeah.
Lane's on the left, Cartwright on the
Did
right.
they cop an injury to their side just recently? Okay.
No. I actually think he is. Playing alongside Moses, I said at the start of the year, that right side back row is hot property. Isaiah Papali'i in previous years has always been a keeper. I think hold him.
He's playing well. He's he's working hard and he's got
Yep.
attacking him. So, yeah.
Head-to-head player, thoughts on keeping Moses for round 23 Dragons and then going Cleary?
Well, that is that one matchup for the Moses
So they
owners. That looks
play
nice, but that's a long wait.
Yeah, they play Melbourne next week. Cleary could be out of reach, but Cleary has a high break even as well. So
I reckon Cleary will make up. Like Moses will probably outscore him that round. Will outscore Nath that round, but not by that much.
Yep.
And Nath will make up all the rest of the points in the other rounds outside of it. So I reckon my vibe is go Nath. He's just the best in the business.
The Green Stream on Instagram, trade Tino for Nikora or don't bring him back or hold?
Well, I wouldn't hold him, Tino, because you're only going to get like 1 or 2 games out of him, aren't you?
I think
3.
I wouldn't go Nikora because Shark Straw is a bit tricky to end the season, so I'd be looking to pod.
Nearly everyone owns him. He said head-to-head, didn't he, too?
No, just nothing.
I was the last guy head-to-head. Okay.
I mean, Nikora is playing well, but if you've got limited trades, I get why it is. But if you've got a few more, I'd be doing that and using the extra cash to upgrade somewhere else.
Is there someone particular you think? Maybe like someone who I've sold recently, like a Colin is still at low ownership?
Yeah, I think Colin is a good one. They've still got another buy, but yeah, there's a lot of good options there. B Spring on Instagram, hold Kennedy against Manly or go Walsh? I like Kennedy against Manly this week, but I don't think you can hold Kennedy for the rest of the season. I can't trust Kennedy
anymore. Like I've had him since everyone jumped on Gutho for about 5 weeks ago, I'd say.
It's exactly why I got rid of him last week.
Yeah, he looks great when he's involved in some attacking play.
He looks quick, and looks like he runs hard.
But he's a great player, but for Supercoach, he's pretty close to on the never again list for me. I mean, his scores have been terrible.
Yeah, I've actually owned him. I owned him last year as well, and he got injured for like the last 6 games.
He's not for me ever again.
And that's it for the Instagram questions. We've done our trades. Who are our captains this week? I'm going vice captain Teddy, captain Hines.
Yes, so I'll go vice captain Teddy, captain Cleary.
I like it.
Ooh,
all exciting. Right, we're done and dusted for the episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bit of a different one this week. I think with the end of the season, we have based a lot of our podcasts on players and do we get them? What are our plans for these players? Because they're the best players. Everyone's kind of set in their ways and they've got limited trades to use. So obviously we'll talk about how we can navigate these trades. Sit v
Star is a big one at this time of year.
I mean, I didn't help you today at all because I still don't know what I'm doing, but if you have any suggestions for segments you want us to do, we're happy to give it a go. If you send us a message, give us a segment idea. If it's half decent, we'll give it a crack because the end of the season is a bit of a grind and a lot of us are waiting for the end because we just want to get there. We want to get to head-to-head finals, but we're still here every week.
Desperate for a Mad Monday.
Yeah, we're still here every week giving our opinions on things, giving our opinions on how we think the week's going to go. And I guess just while we're here, in the off-season, not sure the exact plan at the moment, but we've got this space for Tuesdays. So we're going to be doing something. I don't know what it is, but we're going to try and find something. It's not going to be footy related. It could be like a little bit of footy here and there, but we're going to try and do something. So if you can get around it, that'd be great. We'll have a little break, I guess. A lot of cricket will be coming up, so Hads is keen to come on and do some cricket stuff if he's not too busy with his kid. Actually, he'll be busy with his kid, so maybe not. But yeah, we'll be doing a lot in the off season. And yeah, just keen to get around it. Make sure to rate this show on iTunes 5 stars. It really helps us out. Am I missing anything?
Up the Villy Army.
Up the Villy Army. Cheers, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you on Saturday.
Wow.